Hi there, I'm going to do a review on a flask that I've been using for quite a long time. So I suppose it comes under using it for the great outdoors. And I've just stopped here in this woods near where I work for a pot noodle Bombay bad boy. These are awesome. 500 calories in a big one, so I'll get onto these later. They're great for hiking, but not with the pot. So let me get rid of that and take it home, obviously. Right, so this is the flask I use. I got it primarily for work because I've got a van and I work outdoors, but I've gone through so many flasks where they break, and the ones that don't break, they don't hold their heat. You know, sort of by mid-afternoon or after lunchtime, you want a hot drink, cup of coffee, or to make a pot noodle or something like that, and it's lukewarm at best. So I looked at the reviews and I stepped up and I bought a decent one. So this is a Stanley thermos 1.3 litre. I got the 1.3 litre. I was going to get the 1 litre, but the 1.3 litre, it's the same kind of specs, just and it was the same price on Amazon, so I think it was about £35. So I stepped up and got it, and it is awesome. It looks awesome as well. It looks like something from a World War II film, and it is tough, so I'll get to that straight away. Can you see that dent there? I dropped it. It was in my rucksack, my work bag, and it was sort of dangling out the back, and it dropped, and I'm 6 foot, so, and it landed on concrete, and it still works fine. It really does. It's a pretty cool build. You can fold that away, which is really handy, so it makes a little bit more room in your bag. It's got the cup with it, just the bog standard cup, which I've just used, and the top. Now, the main reason why I got this is for how it retains the heat. That's what I read on the reviews, and you have to own one to believe it. No matter what flask I had before, even the ones with really good adverts on, I'm not going to mention names, you know, like I said, 6 hours at best for some warm water, that sort of thing, unless I just always bought rubbish ones. But they promise these like 12 hours boiling hot water and that. Nah, absolutely rubbish. This thing, this is amazing. Right, so I use this for work. I take it with me to make coffee and whatever I need, mainly coffee. I have like these little filter things. Right, so let me talk about the heating specs of this flask, which would be brilliant, and I do use it when I go out and about, like in the woods like today, or if I was just camping, I would take this because it is quite heavy for what it is. So the heating, if you fill this to the brim with boiling hot water from the kettle, or perhaps you've made some hot water, it will stay boiling hot for another 12 hours at least. It's amazing. So if you're doing a 12-hour day work, or an 8-hour day I suppose, this thing will stay hot enough for whatever you need. Cups of tea, coffee, sort of instant meals, that sort of thing, hot chocolate. It's so hot, it's fantastic. So 12 hours solid, 24 hours still really hot enough to make your hot drink with. 24 hours. And one time I left it by mistake and I forgot, and so I left it for another 24 hours. 48 hours, as long as you don't open the top, it's hot enough to make perhaps a black coffee or a black tea, and certainly hot enough to make an instant meal like porridge or a pot noodle or something like that. It's warm enough. It's very warm after 48 hours. It's absolutely insane. So 24 hours, this thing, you've got enough hot water to see you through, and it just stays hot. Now, the more you open it during the day, the more it depletes in heat. So that 12 hours will deplete, but it's absolutely fine. So if you want to keep it, say, over a 24-hour period, if you're out and about camping or something, and you keep opening it, it will lose its heat eventually, but not by much. But if you just leave water in there, boiling hot water, it will stay hot. It is incredible. Really good. So this would be good for if you're camping outdoors and you had a fire or something, or you were boiling up water, and then the next morning you put water in at night, and then the next morning, as soon as you get up, you don't have to faff around with getting a stove on or making another fire. You can just use this. It will just hold the heat. So if you slept for 8 hours solid, this will still be piping hot afterwards. Or perhaps you're going on like a day trek somewhere, and when you get back to the car, you might want some hot liquid. I've done this before. We did this in Wales. It's fantastic. So you do a good solid day hike. When you get back to the car, there's some hot water for a nice hot chocolate or coffee, or even some food, whatever you want. So it's a good thing to leave because it is quite heavy. So it's just over a kilo, this thing, I think 1.2 kilos, and when it's full of water it's like another kilo, so it's sort of bordering 2.5 kilos when it's full up. So it does weigh quite a bit, But yeah, the heat retaining ability of this thing is insane. If it's losing focus a bit, it's getting quite dark in here, so perhaps I should go a bit closer. Now, if you're using this to go out and about stealth-wise, like say you're bird watching or something, there is a caution to be had. When you open, let me get rid of this. When you open this, it does that. I don't know if it's just my one, but it will scare away nature. See, it's still steaming. I've had it in there. I don't know if you can see the steam. There's only a little bit left. But anyway, this thing is great. You only need to turn it halfway and you can pour through it. There's a bit left in actually, so I'll show you. So you can just pour like that. But sounds like crows, doesn't it? So if you're a bird watcher or whatever you're doing, this is not for the stealth, because yeah, you'll scare away everything. But I bought this a year ago. I've used it loads, mainly for work because I work outdoors and I've got a van, so perfect. Looks awesome. So if you're fed up with buying flask after flask that either break or just don't retain the heat, I highly recommend the Stanley thermos enamel one, and it cannot take a beating as well, so I absolutely love it. Now onto the pot noodles. Right, you can buy these adventure foods and everything for about £5–6. This was like £1 on offer, and it's 500 calories. 500 calories. Now if you are hiking and stuff, obviously you don't want to take this, so what I do is I put these in, what do you call it, Ziploc bags, little freezer bags, and I write on the Ziploc bag the amount of water needed to stew one of these. So yeah, I'll do another review on that, but the pot noodles are great. I wouldn't eat them all the time, but when you're out and about, they're fantastic. But the Bombay Bad Boy is awesome. I'm not man enough for the sauce that comes with this because it's just too hot for me, so I don't have the sauce. But yeah, awesome. Great flask. You won't regret it.